Okay, next video. All right, so I'm gonna give you some notes here on these different types of questions, right? So doing this type of worksheet here. So I'll just give you a couple here. We'll keep this to like 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes, hopefully. All right, so if we look at table G here, I'll pick one. I'll take NH4Cl. So I'm gonna say, all right, let's say you take, let's say you have a saturated solution of NH4Cl in 100 milliliters of H2O at, 80 degrees Celsius is cooled to, all right, so I'm making this up as I go here. All right, let's say 60 degrees is cooled to 60 degrees Celsius. How many grams of NH4Cl will precipitate out of solution? And SOLN is solution. Now this is better to see. You know what? Here we go. Let's see if we can do it real quick. Well, here, let's go to, dang it. This thing always does that to me. Here we go. Go. All right, let's go to solution precip. There we go. Let's try that. See if we can find something here. You know what? This is, I'd like you to see one that kind of, so when you cool a solution, you'll see crystals form. This is how rock candy works. You know what? This is going to be good enough.
All right, what we have here are two beakers, each containing a dissolved...
I can talk. Not that I need to hear. Okay, so here. You've seen this type of reaction before. Beginning of the year, I made like a yellow precipitate. So here we go. So that cloud formation, that's a precipitate. That same thing happens if you take a solution that is clear, like salt water, and you cool it down. It's going to precipitate, because what happens on table G, is, take NH4Cl, the one we're talking about. At higher temperatures, you can dissolve more solution, more solute, NH4Cl, and it will dissolve. Well, if you cool that down and you follow this line down, you can only dissolve like 40 grams. So if you start with 70 grams and you cool it down, the solution itself, the water, can only hold, let's say 40 or a lesser amount. Well, what happened to all the other solutes that you just put in? It precipitates, and precipitate means you see crystal formation, it's cloudy, and eventually that'll settle to the bottom. So that's what I mean by in this question, how many precipitate out. So again, at 80 degrees, you can add more than you can at 60. You have to figure out how much of it falls out. How much can it not hold, right? So we go to table G, and if we're at 80 degrees, we can dissolve, let's call it 67. So here, 67 grams will dissolve. Now we follow that down, to 60 degrees. And now, just for simplicity, let's say 57, right? That's 57. So at 80 degrees, we have the solution on the lab table, 80 degrees. We dump 67 grams, stir it up, it all dissolves, it looks clear. As we put it on ice and it cools to 60, only 57 grams will stay dissolved. The rest will come out, precipitate, and that's why I showed you that really quick. So initially, looks like that. But when you cool it down, and I didn't find this ahead of time. I apologize. I probably could find it. But if you put this on ice, this same thing will happen. That will still happen. This is a chemical reaction. Not trying to confuse you. But this is just an image, a video of what I want you to understand, that it goes from clear to cloudy. Why? Because you're cooling it down. And that's because it can only hold a certain amount. The rest of it precipitates. So at 60, 57 grams can be dissolved. So if you put 67 in, right? Put 67 in, cool it down, and it can only hold 57, 10 grams are going to cloud up, crystallize, precipitate. So that's one type of question on that worksheet. How much time do I have? All right, let me do one more problem, and then I'll use that worksheet to teach the rest whenever I make it due, Friday, Monday, whatever. All right, so here we go. Let's take another one. Let's say we have, I'll take KCl here. Let's say I have 40 grams, 40 grams of KCl dissolved in 100 grams of H2O at we'll go 60 degrees again. How many additional grams, that's supposed to be grams, must be added to make a saturated solution? All right, so again, table G problem. Sometimes the Regents will say using table G, using reference table G, and then they ask the question. Sometimes they don't. So 40 grams of KCl, this 100 grams just means I can use table G. That's all it means. And then 60 degrees. So I go to 40 and 60. So 60 degrees, 40 grams. That puts me right here, underneath the line, unsaturated. That means I can add more to get saturated. I have to get up to the line. That's what the question's asking. So if I'm at 40, how do I get to the line? How do I become saturated? Well, if I add, I don't know, what do you say? That's almost halfway, 5 grams. So if I add 5 grams, I'll have 45 total, and that'll be saturated. And that's the answer, 5 grams. Because that gets me up to the line. All right, hopefully those two made sense. I'm going to stop so these things upload and I don't lose them. There is one more thing that maybe I wanted to do today, but this might be good enough for now. Don't forget, this is due tomorrow. Yeah, and I am going to assign this probably for Friday. All right. See you guys. Hope you're healthy, doing well.